Okay, I think this will probably be the final video on this Tram D62. Because it's mine, you don't really need to see once it's all finished up, but it is completely working now. Needed one more part. That was the audio IC. It was bad, so the audio amp IC has been replaced. And once I installed that, I had good modulation, but I still had no receive. Now I finally cranked the signal generator up over there. I've got several of them. That one, the one in the communications test set, other signal generators. But in any case, I had the old B&K 2040 cranked up to 100,000 microvolts, and I actually could just barely hear a signal, and that's a good sign. There's actually some receive. It may, even with the volume cranked up the whole way, barely audible, but it was there, and it was on frequency. So now's the time to break into the alignment, see if there's something completely out of whack in the alignment, because we have receive now, we have audio, we've got modulation, all of our things that were missing, the channel selector's back. For starters, we have power, then we got the channel indicator back, we've got the audio amplifiers now working. Now we need to get the receive up, and there was a good point, like I say, to get into an alignment procedure. A lot of times is actually another good diagnostics tool. Especially if you're having problem in oscillator circuits, your PLL circuit problems. The alignment procedure a lot of times can narrow it down to a certain circuit, because as you go through the alignment procedure, you'll be aligning each of the oscillator circuits in there, and if it tells you to hook up to TP301 and you have no signal there, well, voila, there's your problem. So, but in any case, so I was going through the alignment procedure, and part of the alignment procedure is the RF gain on one of these. And right now, it's hooked up. It's still hooked up coax cable here through the 1040, which is fed by the 2040. So I now have it at 1 microvolt. So it's turned on. You see down over there in the corner, the knob's cranked the whole way around as low as it'll go, and then it's full scale. So that's 1 microvolt, modulated 30% on channel 17. And turn the volume up. Help if I was on 17. We have a signal. There's upper sideband, AM, lower sideband. It's all frequency, because I didn't actually do an alignment. I just went through it testing for signals. But so you can hear it 1 microvolt. But here was the problem. The reason we had no received signal strength. Someone had pot R12, which is the RF gain, turned down to the point it was literally off. Because sometimes these pots, if you get them too far, and that's what somebody hit. This one was cranked the entire way counterclockwise to the point where even at 100,000 microvolts, with the volume turned up the whole way, you could barely hear a signal. So that was the problem of no receive. So it had 2 more problems that got fixed this time around, and that was the audio amp brought back our volume, out of the speaker, and then our AM modulation, and then a completely out of whack pot, basically. So, and I have no doubt that probably every other pot, like I said, I didn't actually do the alignment, I just went through checking at the test points, but that's one of the things that would be in the alignment was, as soon as I saw, RF gain, we'll give that a crank here, and it was, I could see it was at full rotation one direction, and as soon as I touched it, and got even the slightest bit of turn, probably 100th of a turn, bang, it about blew me out of the chair, because like I say, I had the signal generator at that time set at 100,000 microvolts. So, here was a junk radio. Now, like I say, I got it with no cover, no speaker, missing actually 6 knobs, because these are dual function, so, the 2 knobs on each of the 3 controls here, but I have junk radios, ones that are in much worse shape than this. I've got one with a broken faceplate, and another one the circuit boards, it looks like somebody stepped on the damn thing. It's just shattered. But it's got good, so I've got 2 of them with good covers, and I've got knobs and everything. So this one's definitely worth doing the rest of the restoration on, you know, complete recap job. Now, I already did, and that was part actually when I was doing some of the troubleshooting. I replaced the 3 main filter caps in it, and there's a tantalum back here. Actually, I replaced 2, because while I had this out, that one was easy to get to. So these have already been replaced. That's one thing I always upgrade these. So these were increased from 3,000, or from 1,000 microfarads. Each of these were increased to 3,300 microfarad. So lots of additional filtering and basically storage, because that's basically what a capacitor is. A short-term battery is one way of thinking of it in layman's terms. So they've been upgraded, and they're Nichicon, so I don't use junk capacitors. So like I say, they were already done. So I just need basically to, you know, I'm probably going to stop here. I've got customers' radios to do, but so I know this is worth sticking on the to refurbish shelf now. It works, it receives, it transmits well, has good modulation. Matter of fact, I can, let's see, yeah, we're in AM. Make sure all the mic gains turned up there. So, switched over here. Okay, so, mic gains turned up the whole way. Audio. Go over to the meter over here. Audio check. 1, 2. Yeah, and it's definitely overmodulated, because as you can see, it's not clipping, so it's not flat topping, but you can see that the line in between, that's a clear indication. Yeah, you shouldn't have that. It should be basically come to an X pattern. And then on sideband, audio check. Audio 1, 2. Audio check. Audio 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Audio check. Test 1, 2. So we've got good output, good receive. Finish a cap job, do a complete alignment on it, slap a cover and a speaker in there, some knobs, and good scrubbing on the faceplate to clean that up really good, because the black's a little bit dirty. There's no scratches in there. It's just really dirty. So, and then clean up the 2 knobs that are on here, and this thing, and I'll put a new power cord on it, because right now the power cord, as you can see, it's a tad bit on the short side. And oh, I've got to replace that enamel wire on the negative, the main negative line down there. But so there it is. That was from start to finish, repairing several problems. Basically, I think the dead short that somebody might have had at one time might have been a blob of solder on the bottom. Because like I say, I cleaned, that was the first thing, one of the first things I did was cleaned all that solder flux off the bottom, because it was so goopy on there, crap all over the place, you couldn't see anything. That was fixed. You know, fixed a broken solder trace on the channel selector board, which is caused the channel indicator to lose ground. Fixed that burned up trace on the volume control. Now, one other thing I've already done, I don't know, and I just saw it, and I don't know why it didn't dawn on me before. There were 2 wires going down soldered to the underside of the board, as many of these things as I've worked on. And they went, if you notice, you see how there's 3 leads, 1 lead. I don't know why the light bulb didn't go off in my head, just been one of those weeks. So, I don't know if they broke off or somebody cut them off, but the lead's off, and that's the rear section of the potentiometer, and for this control, that's the clarifier. So, and where they had them going, it wasn't a mod, you know, it wasn't a clarifier unlock mod, and that could have been another part of the problem, because like I said, I just went, as soon as I noticed that, I undid, but they had one wire went to ground all the way back here to this transformer. That one wire was actually tied in to the mounting tab for this strap, which is the ground plane, and then the other one they had going over here somewhere. I didn't even look and take notice. I just unsoldered it there, took the wire out, and like I say, they broke the 2 leads off and removed them, so I just, you know, used the actual wires they already had on there just trimmed them a lot shorter, and then jumpered them over to where they're supposed to be. So the clarifiers, it is unlocked, but it's working like it's supposed to. That might have been another problem. But like I say, the RF gain pot being down the entire way was the big problem. So there you go. That was from start to finish all of everything that was needed to get this from completely dead and, you know, smoked circuit traces back to up and running the way it should be.